What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Smashing Pumpkins, and we're continuing through Adore 1998. Thank you again to Sofia and to Luca, who is so completely inconveniently placed down here. But the next track is Crestfallen, which not only means sad, but it means sad in relation to disappointment, a development that one was hoping against, but instead turned out to be true or actual. So in that regard, it certainly sets the stage. Now, it's a single word title, so there's no indication of who is crestfallen. The narrator, another person, maybe both. It could, of course, be more complicated than it sounds, which I suppose I would expect anyway. Nevertheless, it certainly puts a cloud or a melancholy over the tune in question. Now, again, with the title of the album overall, to be adoring, to be devoted to, or otherwise affectionate toward, which is, the essence of the verb adore, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a connection between the two concepts. In any case, let's see what I can pick up on a first listen while I try to avoid stepping on Luca. This is Smashing Pumpkins, the track is Crestfallen, and it's from their 1998 album Adore. Wow. So, a really heavy emotional song. It's sad for a couple different reasons, more on that in a minute, but I will just comment that by the end I really was picking up on that rhythmic percussion as a heartbeat type of dynamic. And I think Billy's voice lends itself particularly well to sad songs. Of course, I think he sings well when he's fiery and has a shouted quality, but when it's melancholic and heavy and emotional, I think he hits those types of songs really well, and this one is no exception. So, lyrically, I think I've got most of it, though there is seemingly a countervailing notion. But so the idea seems to be that he's saying he's self denigrating, he's devaluing his own significance or worth vis a vis the other person, saying, like, who am I to, ask for your affection? Who am I to expect you to tether your life to me? And ultimately, you don't belong to me, and you don't deserve to belong to me, and you're not beholden to me because I'm just not worthy of that significance, which is like tragic in two ways, because it sounds like he wants another chance, but he doesn't think he deserves it. So it's like, it's hard to see this relationship dynamic optimistically, but secondarily, he clearly has issues when it comes to self-worth or some measure of self-esteem, and perhaps that's because it hasn't worked out before, or maybe that's part of why it didn't work out before. But he is saying also, like, your life is not your own. So I know that can be used in some different ways, and the idea being that another person's life, if they were to choose to end it, say, like, it wouldn't affect just them. There'd be a ripple effect, a web of people who'd be affected by that, and so by making such a rash and destructive action, they'd be hurting others, not just themselves. So your life isn't your own, and that other people depend on it. Other people derive joy or inspiration or satisfaction or solace from it. So again, it's more than just your own. But I don't know if that necessarily contradicts what he's saying, that you don't belong to me, but it seems like he's aware that their life has impacted him, that his life is sort of emotionally dependent on this other person, and he wants a chance. He does adore them, but he thinks that he's not quite worthy of, I'm going to say, her time or commitment in that regard. So there's a bit of self-loathing in the song, which makes it especially sad. But again, Crestfallen, the idea of being disappointed or sad because of disappointment, it sounds like we're jumping into the middle of the story, and there's already been a breakup, or more likely, well, I guess it would be one and the same, but her cutting it off with him, and he's sort of, we don't even know if he's talking to her directly. He could just be saying this by himself and, sort of pleading to the universe, as it were, but at the same time in a way that suggests, like, he thinks this is what I deserve. I don't deserve the other chance that I really want. So it's a sad tune. The sonics are a bit dreamy, like he's in this, sort of emotional daze, and he's, not like clear and, perceiving everything in an immediate and more empirical sense. So it sounds like he's lost in his psycho-emotional and crestfallen mental state. And as I said, I think Billy really hits the emotion. It does sound like there was a female vocalist here, like in conjunction with him. So again, like, I still haven't a full handle on the evolving membership of the group, so I'm assuming, if I'm hearing that right, it's someone who's also in the band, but of course it could be like a guest vocalist, or maybe I'm just hearing it wrong. But yeah, definitely there were a couple moments where it sounded like he was singing in unison with a female voice. So yeah, a very powerful tune, a very heavy tune. Looking forward to the rest of the album. From Luca, the slightly inconvenient cat, and I, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.